everyone, this is Amy. Welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to show you how I do a very simple daisy design on this clear glass bottle. I have already gone ahead and cleaned it off with soap and water and then went over it with rubbing alcohol so it's ready to go. I will be using 3 Amagic paintbrushes today. I have a 12, a 10, and a 6. I do put affiliate links down below my videos. If you're interested in purchasing from that, please take a look. And then I'm going to be using a number 2 Deerfoot stippler. All the paints I use are FolkArt Enamels and multi-surface. I combine them. I am using yellow ochre, burnt sienna, thicket, forest moss, and titanium white. To begin, I'm going to tap in my centers. I will be putting the yellow ochre, here, in the front part of the brush, and then the heel of the brush I am loading in the burnt sienna. And I always tap it off on my plate before I put it onto the item that I'm painting. Alright, so let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to start with just a little round, a little one I should say, right over here towards the top of the bottle. And I'm just tapping it in. I will eventually go over once I paint in my petals, but I'm tapping these in just to get started. And I'm going to go ahead and move on to my next one. Let's do it, I don't want to do it too far to the side because I want to make sure I don't roll my bottle onto what I've painted. And that's okay if they're close together. Don't worry too much about that, because I kind of like them overlapping a little bit. And then I'm going to do a full one right here. And you can just eyeball and place them wherever you want. If you want to do just strictly all full ones, you can do that too. I just like to tap in, put in a few of the smaller ones along with the full ones. And you can make your center bigger if you want. You have to judge it based on the space that you have. And with painting on a bottle, you know, I paint on paper first, so my design a lot of times isn't exactly what I put on my paper. I have to size it based on the item I'm painting on, or make it fit that. And if you want to have your partially opens, just have maybe like an arch for the center instead of a round center. You can do that too. For the purpose of this video though, I'm just doing them as round. Alright, and then I'm going to do another round one here, open. Alright, the next thing I'm going to do, take the number 12 brush. I am using the larger brush for the petals, and I'm going to put it into the white and then just touch a little bit into the yellow ochre just to give it some color besides the white. And I apologize, my furnace is starting up here. So all these are going to be being from the outer part pulled into the center. And I'm going to go over them to make sure that they're opaque, because I definitely want them to have good coverage. And when you make sure that you have your brush loaded with a lot of paint, or you go over it for a second time, that helps. Because the more paint you have on your brush, the more durable your design is going to turn out, because you definitely want it opaque as possible. You know, with this paint. Now there are paints where it is translucent, like a stained glass, which that's not what I'm going for here at all. But just, you know, go over them until you get the coverage that you're looking for. Again, if it means you dry it a little bit and then you come and you put more paint on, that's fine too. I'm going to go back over here, pull towards this one. Again, because they're close, they are going to overlap, which is fine. That's exactly what I wanted. Sorry, my brush hit the camera. Sorry about that, and I apologize too. My furnace is running, so it's noisy in the background. So you can add, you know, a little bit of that yellow ochre. Yeah, just to give your petals just a little bit of interest. Like that. Go back over them. However you want to do it. It's your turn to be creative. Use your creative juices and make it what you want it to be. And just take your time. There's no race here. Just take your time. Take your time and relax. And if you want them closer together, you can. If you want to spread them out or have some that are out away from the petal next to them, that's fine too. Okay, now I'm into my full ones here. Alright, so let's just go out here. It's nice, soft, easy strokes. Just come out, pull it towards your center. And they're just kind of, what I want to say, like, just very loose. Don't have to be real precise. Alright, so we're getting close on these petals. And I don't want them to be too full of paint or ridged up, because then that could bubble when you're baking them. So if you have any ridges that are high, I would go ahead and smooth them out. Just to make sure, because you don't want them to, like I said, to bubble. Alright, so the next thing I'm going to do is take my my number 10, and I'm going to put it in. I put each side in, do the blending strokes. When I get to this part, I'm not real picky You know, I just, as I'm painting, keep adding paint and do the strokes. You put white in with your mixture, that helps make it a little bit more opaque. What you can do is do your stems, you know, come in like your little light here, come in like it's coming down and around, and here we go. And then we can tap one of these in up here, tap this one in just a little bit like it's coming down to this one, and we're going to come out over here. And I don't necessarily like them to be straight. I always kind of slant my stems some, and then I'm going to go over them to make them more opaque. And just keep adding paint just to be able to do that with. If you have any questions while I'm doing this, please put those questions down below under my video. Questions or comments are welcome. If you are new to my channel, make sure you subscribe, hit that notification bell. That way you'll get notified whenever I post something new.
Someone's at your door.
Now my phone's going to start talking. And these are just going to be the wiggle flower leaves, but they're just partial. And I'm just going to keep adding them. You want to make sure that they too are opaque, so once you're done painting, you know, if you're going to bake it, give it at least an hour to dry. If it's any point when you're drying it, if you feel like it's too transparent still, go ahead and go over it with another coat of paint. You know, that helps to make it a little bit thicker. Might even help with covering up some brush strokes, because I've had people ask me about that. Tells me if you're seeing a lot of brush strokes, unless they're intentional, you know how we wave to like that, you want to see that. If you feel like it's too light and you can see too much or see through it, too transparent, either put a thicker coat of paint on when you're painting or go ahead and go over it again. Because you definitely, you know, if you're not looking for a transparent look, and with this paint, it will definitely be nicer if you have a thicker coat of paint or you put a second coat on it. Just have to be careful when you do second coats though, because that can pull the paint up. So you want to make sure you watch that. And if you don't like this style of leaf, you're welcome to do this design, but use a different style. I'll throw some white in here, make it a little lighter. Go like that. And come in here, pull it through. Like that. Alright, so then what I'm going to do, I need to get some more green here, but what I'm going to do is do just some vines, some little filler leaves. Just kind of pick a place where you might want to have them come out from. And these are kind of nice to have them going up around the top of the bottle too, if you want. I can do it like this, have it come out. Even choose, like I said, to have some come up the bottle. I can add to it. When I'm doing my videos, I just typically do the I typically just do the front of the bottle, and that way it, you know, it's not as long of a video. Okay, so on this, I'm just basically throwing the greens together. I'm pushing down on the brush like that, and then pulling it up and turning it. On something like this, and you can come back in, you can always add some other little pulls into it just to kind of finish it off, or add more color if you need more color. The base is basically green and white in that moss, forest moss, and then I mix them kind of all together and paint. And if you find like you need to go back over your actual stem, you know, feel free to do that too. And I'm just doing really light little pulls in between. You know, one thing fun when you're learning to paint is just taking a paintbrush and seeing what kind of petals you can create with that paintbrush. If you notice, I tend to use flat brushes a lot. I was thinking about this the other day and trying to figure out, like, why do I like, you know, for me a flat brush is a brush that I can do a lot of different styles of flowers and leaves with. I think that's why I like them so much. Okay, so then, like I said, on something like this, you can come back in, throw some white in. You want to do that, or you can come back in, throw some darker into your leaves, pull, 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 pull. Add to your stem a little bit. I'll just be versatile. Like that. Alrighty. I got a couple more here. Trying to figure out how to do these without touching my bottle on the paper. Alright, so we're gonna do, make sure you're in here. Do that here. And I'm just kind of rotating and adding paint as I go. Again, I can come back in here, add some color to it, add some white if I want to accent it a little more. Come in here like that. You can, you know, vary the size of your leaves. If you turn your brush on the side and just, you know, work on the chisel edge, you can get a different look. Pressure definitely can determine a lot too. You know, if you're putting a lot of pressure on your brush, if you're not, your petals will look different. Alright, so there we have this. And the last thing I want to do before we go is go back into my centers. I let them dry a little bit, so I'm going to go back over them. Actually, let's go this way because I think I ended up making it more like that. This way too, then I can kind of connect the petals a little bit better. You got a little bit of white in the bottom. That's great. And then come over here and do the same thing. Let me put a little bit more brown in the back of it. Get a little more brown on my heel there. I feel like I don't have any brown on my heel. That way I kind of do this with my sunflowers too, where I come back in and tap them in. That way it kind of cleans it up, where you've got a better connection to your petals. And when you started, especially if you didn't bring them all the way to the center. Another thing too, you could actually tap the centers in after you're done painting the flowers. I did them first this time just to have a guideline as to where to paint the leaves. Let's see, that looks, finishes it off. I'm gonna come over here and do the same here. This one's a little bit bigger space. And do the final one right here. But they don't have to fill the whole center. I mean, you can have them where they're not actually, there's space there. There are designs like that too. But I give it enough dry time that even though it may still be a little wet, it actually is just enough to pick up a little bit of an accent around the edge, which is good. Alright, I think that's pretty good there. Alright, I'm not going to mess with it anymore. I'm going to leave it just like that. I hope you like this design. If you do, make sure you give me a big thumbs up. New to my channel, please subscribe. Hit that notification bell. And then, before you go, please share this on your social network with all your family and friends. I would greatly appreciate it. And until the next time, please stay safe and healthy, and you have a good one.